I see one of the issues that they mention is low-cost drones require very expensive solutions to detect them. And then if you have a low-cost problem, you need a low-cost solution. So people understand that if you're able to offer a real low-cost solution to a low-cost problem, then that's very, very interesting.
Welcome to the autonomous age, where drones map our cities, robots save lives, and underwater vehicles scan the ocean floor. I'm Shay Senior, and this podcast is your front row seat to the real stories behind the machines shaping our future and the people behind them, from the engineers and researchers to the entrepreneurs and investors. So we are here today, episode number 8, and I'm super excited. In the last episode, we talked about computer vision and images and how do they help navigate in a crowded space and where there are a lot of GPS denied situations, and how do we find a way to operate both commercial and defense technologies into one type of system that at the end of the day, Israeli people, entrepreneurs, take their knowledge, spend a lot of time and develop new and very creative technologies. And today we're here with Itay Nourian, Insignito, and I would like you to first tell us what Insignito means.
Yeah, so Insignito is basically a play on the word incognito, like not revealing your name, and we replace the cog with SIG because one of our main products, one of our main solutions is a planning tool that allows you to plan the mission in a way that you won't be detected. So we use signals to make you undetectable or unknown, or reduce the noise of a drone, which is the second thing that we do. So this is the origin of the name.
So how did you get to sound?
So I was the commander of a unit in the Air Force called Signatures. It's a unit that basically about 20 years ago was given with the task to build the infrastructure for drone acoustics and UAV acoustics for the entire defense establishment of Israel. So answering questions like, how do you measure an acoustic signature? How does sound propagates with the atmosphere and everything? The psychoacoustics, when do you define, when does a person become alerted and say, oh, there's a sound here, and moves his head, like to hear a drone, and when it will be disappearing in the background noise. So it's lots of science that wasn't studied to a big extent by then, and engineering tools that weren't developed by then, and they are extremely relevant to special operations. So we basically built everything there, this unit, for 20 years, and I was the commander exactly in the point where drones became prominent, where everyone using drones, and we had to adapt all the infrastructure from UAV to drones. So that's how I originally got into sound.
Every episode I realize about something new, but I can imagine so many applications in relation to sound.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like from what you just started saying that you are already operating few different products.
Yeah.
So it's about the sector that you realize that is relevant and critical. How did you get to start a company around it?
So basically what happened is about 3 years ago, something like that, 3.5, the Ministry of Defense approached me and my co-founders, Yarden Eilat and Dor Roof, and they basically told us, look, the amount of use of drones is crazy now. It's nothing like it used to be when you were back then, and we need lots of solutions in drone acoustics. And we tried to work with defense contractors in Israel, abroad, with the academy, and they felt like they spend a lot of money to teach people what stuff we already know, right? Stuff we like start to forget. So it's sometimes, in most cases, an entrepreneur have an idea and he looks for the market. It was kind of the opposite, right? Like the market came to us and say, this is what we want you to do. There is the green route, Amastula Iraq in Israel. You can get accepted as a vendor to Ministry of Defense very fast. We practically, in a few months, start getting orders from the Ministry of Defense, started growing, started making money. So in the beginning, everything was around mission planning. But with time, there are not many drone acoustics experts in the world. It's a rising technology, acoustics, a rising market, drones, and it creates so many opportunities. So we began with mission planning. Then we had the idea to. It's all ideas we had when we were in the Air Force, but we never came to actually do them, right? So to reduce the drone noise by designing unique sound propellers. It's very innovative. Like it hasn't been done in the last 100 years. I think that we're doing here, and this is the second thing that we've done. And then with time, the market brought us to the drone detection, acoustic drone detection, which is our flagship product right now.
So it's interesting. The beginning was not like, I would say, the average startup that looks for a problem and then goes and pitches why there is a problem so that people would be convinced that there's a need in what they've developed. In your case, the market made a call. I guess they came up to the experts and they said, you guys would be able to help us.
Exactly, yeah. I remember, before we thought whether we founded, we went and met different stakeholders inside the Ministry of Defense, different units, 8-1, etc. And they're all like, yeah, do it immediately. We need this, like, build this company. And we're like, okay. We sat on a beer, I remember, me and Yarden and Dor, and we're like, okay, we have to do it. Like, it's like,
we got
even for
mandate.
Zionism, but it's who gets this opportunity that people want the solution so much?
That's crazy. So 3 different products started from propellers.
Start from mission planning.
Started from mission planning, continued to propellers. Which Zipline, for example, I've seen that they work in delivery drones right now, and they paid attention to the sound as something that could influence their customers or whoever is not their customer, and the drones are flying above their head. And right now, what is most relevant and in a critical usage are your systems that are detecting sound?
Yeah, so what happened, after October 7th, I asked myself, how come? Because before I founded Insignito, I was COO in a startup that did AI for radars. So we basically improved radar capabilities using AI. So I knew that radars find it hard to detect drones, and there's a need for AI to solve that. But I knew that there were solutions for drone detection, like Elta, Rafael, the big companies. They had some solutions, and I was shocked. Why didn't we buy all these solutions and put them all over the border on the strategic places, like drone hits the house of the prime minister, and like it must have worth the money, right? Like it's so important. We can prevent on October 7th. And I talked to my friends in the Air Force that were involved in like decision making around this, and they actually told me, look, we looked into it. It's so expensive. It costs so much compared to such poor performance that we didn't find it convincing enough to put all the money into it. Like, you put it in so many locations all over the border, and it becomes so expensive. And then you look at what happened in Russia, Ukraine with the spiderweb operation, right? Like a base cost $7 billion being completely demolished by drones that cost $400. And you're like, wait a second, that's Russia. It's, by the way, a base with jets carrying nuclear weapons, like one of the most strategic bases, not like a random. And you're like, that's Russia. Like they sell radars all over the world, and they said, oh, it's too expensive for me to defend on one of my most strategic bases. So I understood it's a huge problem. Suddenly I realized, wow, the price is one of the biggest problems. But the microphones you have on your cell phone, they're called MEMS microphones. They're so cheap. It's like they're so affordable. It's like few dollars. So we were very curious if we can build a sensor that would detect the drones very well. And we went to demonstrations. We're invited to demonstrations, including the US. And suddenly we see systems that cost 30 times more, 20 times more. And we reached like similar performance. And that's where we realized, okay, like we were more on the how not to be detected side, but we should also be on the how to detect side, because we have the technology, we have the capabilities, and there is a huge problem we can solve here.
It's interesting for me because a lot of times, you hear about startups that people that come up with ideas and recommendation, they will tell you, but don't make it too cheap, because if it's too cheap, so then no one wants to buy it because they say, oh, it's too cheap. How it's gonna be useful? So for sure, there were also assumptions for people that you met and you told them, I mean, I got this system. That's what we've created. For us, it was easy, so-called, to get to that point. Let me show you my capabilities, 10 times cheaper than the rest. What were the feelings, and how did those meetings look like when you started expanding the word?
In the end of the day, the difference, you're right. People usually say be as pricey as you can. And that's what we all want to do, right? If we can charge more, we will charge more. But this is a market who looks for a cost-effective solution. Like not too long ago, the US published like a national security document. And they talk about like AI, China, all the biggest issues. And I see one of the issues that they mention is low-cost drones require very expensive solutions to detect them. And then if you have a low-cost problem, you need a low-cost solution. So this is what the market looks for. So people understand that if you're able to offer a real low-cost solution to a low-cost problem, then that's very, very interesting.
In relation to decisions that you had to make along that process, can you give one example of how did you get to that point? I mean, so far in our episode, it sounds like everything went perfect. And I want to find those points that you've been challenged.
Yeah, obviously, what challenge? Me saying going into a new product is kind of like it's not everyone goes perfect. Everything goes perfect. Is I have one idea and I just blow up with. When we raised the first round, our focus was the drone noise reduction, right? We are a drone acoustic company, but our focus was the drone noise reduction. I definitely felt there that what I expected the pace of making business would be was not as quick as I thought. It's sometimes there are markets that the first thing I did when I tried to go heavy on trying to sell this product is I made a list of like dozens of drone companies and talked to each one. I had a connection somehow in each place through a friend or something. I started to call. It's different when you talk to just like 5 friends or you talk to 50 friends, right? And I realized that the sales process is a bit longer than I expected. Like you talk to a drone company, but they say, that sounds great. Like reducing noise is extremely important, but I need the end user to pay. So you bring the end user to the table. Then the end user says, oh, you can reduce sound. It's amazing. I really want it, but not with this company. Let's do it for this other company. You find yourself bouncing a lot until you close a deal. In the end, you close a deal. And we find this is a solution that's growing amazing for us. It's growing organically and it's great. But outside is a kind of assumption that I had that I found to adapt, and we found our focus in a place where the product market fit is much easier to reach, which is the detection.
We have examples that are bootstrapped and other examples that are funded by VCs, and you're talking about kind of a third.
Begin as bootstrap and then get funded. Yeah.
But also that Ministry of Defense came with a problem and they already told you guys can make us a product. It makes it easier to be a bootstrap. Maybe it's a new type of category that you figured out
Easy
there.
Bootstrap, yeah, definitely. We're bootstrapped in the beginning. It was a question because we could continue to be bootstrapped. We made good money, and there's a lot to be done in this path, but we felt that if we really want to grow and if we want to go faster, we have to raise some money. Sometimes I'm talking to like someone in the army, and he tells me, "Oh, like I want a propeller for this immediately. Like this, you don't understand how important it is for me. Like just bring me this propeller. Like we'll buy a lot of it." And I'm like, "Okay, but it's an R&D process. Like I need to find someone who will find the R&D because I'm bootstrapped. And it's like, okay, so, and then you wait like 3 or 4 months to find a person who would put the money to, and I was like, if I have the money, I'll just come with a propeller for him and he'll buy all these propellers from me. So we understood that we should get the money. And you know, when you raise, you start to think bigger. And when you talk to the VCs, you have to think bigger. And when you have some funds, you can aim higher, right? You say, okay, wait, I have this amount of money. I know what I can do technologically, and now I can go and reach towards it. Which, when you're bootstrapped, you measure everything. Okay, I have $100,000, and I'll only use that. Which now you have much more. You can aim much higher.
So it's that skip from a concept that the people that came up with the problem told you, okay, show me the concept. We have enough people that need it, and then you're getting to that next point, which is the friction. You want to meet more markets. You're facing more challenges because in different countries, the requirements are different. Suddenly, winds are much more critical. They try to put them in trees and wherever. I'm just imagining scenarios that I could think of where your products could be used. How do you work that progress? How do you plan it?
Plan what?
How do you plan that sequence in the defense industry? You think about the next country that you will enter.
Yeah, so you know there is from the market point of view and the technological point of view. So from the technological point of view, it's kind of interesting because I feel like 100 years ago they started building radars, right? And you think about the technologically advancement in algorithms and everything that happened in the last 100 years to the quality of tracking, detection, classification that you can do with radars today. I feel like we're now in the beginning of this phase with acoustic radars, right? Acoustic detection of range and direction, so it feels like you're planning on how to build this. There's so much to do. It's like a science that hasn't been discovered yet, like engineering science that needs to be discovered. What can you do? What's possible? And it's very fun in terms of the technological point of view to build this plan. And the potential is huge to improve detection range, to improve classification capabilities, etc. In terms of market, it's like in my situation, it's kind of easy because it's like one of the biggest problems in defense right now. It's counter UAS. It's like in the top agenda of everywhere, and so you have to get to the US, right? Europe, like they're afraid of what happens with Russia and Ukraine, and they talk about the drone wall. So this is the 2 markets that we're focusing on, of course, in addition to increasing our footprint in Israel.
And are there any situations that on the level of acoustics you could have challenges? I mean, let's consider that we are the blue side of the map. Are the red side able or already doing different influences on acoustics? Because I feel that your advantage here is that your knowledge helps you make the propellers, and at the same time a system that could detect them.
Yeah, exactly. So first of all, 100%, it's when radars became dominant, suddenly electronic warfare became a big thing, and it will happen again now with the proliferation of other sensors. There's a lot to be done also. I think it's an interesting concept, like the acoustic warfare. There's a lot to be done there. But, it's a cat and mouse game, right? Like they'll think about something. We'll need to find an answer to. I won't say the ideas that are vulnerabilities of my system here in the podcast, but there are some cool things you can do. But, you can understand that if I have a solution to reduce noise for drones, this can be used against me. So it's good that we only sell to the blue side. So it will never be used against our own systems. But this is an example of what companies can do.
When we talk about outsiders, people that are not from the drone world, what do you think they misunderstand or they actually don't really think of in relation to acoustics? If it's in drones, if it's in ground vehicles, or
I'll tell you something like that relevant to the propeller world. The what we're doing in the designing sound propellers is basically we're designing a propeller that haven't been seen before. It's a unique design. The propellers world is the same world, about 100 years ago. It was built like a library called NACA, NACA, and they built like a list of profiles for wings, which are basically the basis for today propellers. It haven't changed a lot in the last 100 years. Like most of the propellers are still based on that, and we suddenly come and develop propellers that look very differently. And we claim that they are much quieter without damaging aerodynamic performance, which is hard to swallow for some people. So what we saw difficult to understand is that when you talk to people who are, I don't know, did aerodynamics for 30, 40 years, they developed a conservative mindset, right? Like propeller should look this way. And if it looks differently, you need to have a very clear explanation of why is this the case. But, in AI, neural networks, sometimes you have a very deep neural network and it works very well. Nobody really understands why, right? You can do 5-year research just to understand why the AI decided to do such things. We're like kind of in the same situation when we have an AI algorithm that does optimization and also geometric and genetic optimizations, and it reaches a conclusion. This is a very good propeller. We prove it in the field. It's a fact, right? It works. But I don't know why this specific design works so well. And so I find it's difficult to understand for people who are very conservative in the aerodynamic world to grasp that leap of, to have a leap of faith in like a propeller that looks very unique and will reduce the noise of the propeller.
But shouldn't it feel easier when it's unmanned vehicles? Because if it's on an airplane, I can understand, it's like the process from moving from a propeller to a jet. It took people time to agree. Engine could look different.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's I think that's why we still have lots of early adopters, right? Like people who believe in that and they want to test the technology and they are using it, but because it's it's not a jet as you said, but yeah, like it's still, I guess, for them like harder to swallow.
And if we talk a little bit about the past 2 years, so you guys are working here in Israel. How is it building in uncertainty? I mean, rockets from Iran, at the same time you guys have to go to the field to locate systems. How do you keep the team on that same energy that you come with here today? And what was the feeling in all that process sentimentally?
Yeah, well, it's definitely a challenge. We're a team, the founders. We all came from the same unit. I was their commander, and we're friends. Basically, we're friends, and we talk a lot. I think for me, what I really liked about Insignito is that when we founded it and as it grew, is that you want to have a conversation between the founders that's very open. Like you still argue, you still challenge each other, you still speak freely, but in the end of the day, the best argument wins. So I think, there are lots of changes that are going on, lots of challenges that's going. We always talk. I consult a lot with my VCs, Fresh Defense, ICI, and the angels that are great. And so I feel like talking a lot, consulting a lot, reading a lot helps you make better decisions in uncertainty and dealing with all these challenges.
So we talked about the technology, and I want to get a little bit into the people behind your solution. The two co-founders of the company, you already know them from your military background, and that's something that is very unique in Israel.
Yeah.
People grow up together and they come up with ideas, build companies. Let's get a little bit deeper into the team. How do you guys share the responsibilities, and what's the process when you're looking into someone new to join you? What type of qualities would you look for in those individuals, since you guys are the expert, which is a little bit different than just being the business leader?
So first of all, between the three of us, I feel like we all have like different qualities in terms of managing a startup. We all studied electrical engineering or physics, but I took a route that is more business sided. I did a lot of sales before. I did lots of project management. So I take care of more of like the not technical side, not although I also managed the R&D teams before. Yarden is like very general. You know, some people are like have like strong technological intuition for every question you ask them. Like they always, the smartest people in the room always have like the fast solution in general technology, and he's like that. He's like one of the smartest people I know. So he's like is the CTO role, and Dor is a great acoustics expert, one of the best in Israel in acoustics, and he's like more of the VP R&D role of like delivering the acoustic product. So we found between us a very like the division of labor makes lots of sense, and the way we choose, actually, first of all, we managed to get lots of people from signature unit. So the company is still more than half ex signature unit people, but you know, for me, it's actually very interesting because when I was managing the signature unit in the Air Force, there was something there that was special. It was a team of people who were highly motivated. They all believe that they're in the best place you can be in the IDF. They all worked very hard, tried to create value. There was like some sort of dynamic that I think made this unit very successful. Like you felt like I enjoyed going to work, right? Like I enjoyed coming to the office every day and solving problems and very, very smart people. Okay, like I wasn't the smartest person in the room there. There were like many more besides me, and it was very fun. And this, like, I don't know if I defined it correctly, but after I left the army and I worked in different startups, I felt like it's really hard to create what we had there. It was like something in the culture was very unique, and when I managed my own teams outside, it was not as easy. I realized, like, I took it for granted. Like, I need to work to make something like that happen again. And then I talked to other people who left the unit, and they're also like, yeah, what we had there is special. Like, they call it like the golden age. How to create again. And so when we built Insignito, our goal is to recreate what happened there. That was our goal from the beginning. And so you know, I try to choose the people that I feel would be part of you know, they're like very smart, a bit weird. You know, it's good to be a creature, יצור. It's good to be a little bit.
מי שלא משוגע הוא לא נורמלי.
Yeah, you don't want the normal people. No, I'm joking. Also, it's good that you have the normal. You need to have the mix. You have big diversity, you know. You have and people who will feel free talking about like different philosophical things, and everything is like in good atmosphere and positive, and but also like very motivated. You know, they're go-getters. They themselves have the character of like a founder. So maybe it's like a transition for them, and maybe they'll grow with the company. But so I'm trying to find, and we're able to do this. I'm really happy with what we have in Insignito. It's like we created what I had in the signature, right? Like we created like this great culture. So, you know, you read in books sometimes like how important culture is. Like this is what I have, like a clear vision of how it's supposed to look like, and I'm trying to choose the people who fit there, because I experienced that for 3 years. So that's, I would say, how I choose people.
Wow, that's so exciting. And I'm happy to hear that. I mean, my service was also with great people, great experience. We traveled all around the country, and I think I can connect a little bit to what you're talking about. It's amazing to be able to replicate and recreate that type of feeling for yourself, for the people, the trust that you create, the availability that you have to people with their ideas to come up and say, that's what I think we should do, and the opportunity that is created there. What will 2026 looks like for you guys? Or if I will take it even farther, if you would have started in 2026, would you do a venture in a different sector?
Well, no, you know, it's we definitely got lucky to some extent. When we began to work in defense, you know, we did it, as I said before, it was like the market coming to us. But the hype of defense was not the hype that there is today. Today, the hype is out of control. In 2026, so many VCs just raised money to invest in defense right now. So all this money is going to be poured in right now to defense. And so this is definitely a year to be in defense. And I would definitely go there again if I would found a company. I really believe in founding a company when you have your expertise, when you have your strengths. So we're definitely in this space. I've been working in defense for 15 years. This is where I have all my connections and my knowledge of the market and the language. So for us, 2026, it's the focus is the drone detection, acoustic drone detection system. We have like every week we have like 2 or 3 like demos or pilots that we do with the system, and we have a very big order that with the Ministry of Defense that going to be deployed. So it's going to be like the year that I believe this solution is going to explode.
So I think the industry is like, I would see people in the reserves come into the army and then pushing a whole organization 10 years forward. I feel that right now, in relation to what you just said about a lot of money coming in, all technology would be pushed a lot farther. We can see it with special helmets that companies like Underdeveloped say, why do soldiers still need to go with the normal helmet that is protecting their head, and to add on top of it something that they could see with,
maybe
instead
an acoustic sensor to detect drones on top of the helmet. It's I'm throwing ideas here. Don't steal it. But there's definitely I'm seeing it in acoustics as well, because we have 3 products, but the amount of ideas that are bouncing towards me of what you can do with acoustics. It's a rising technology. There's like so many things to be done, like so many problems to solve with it. And even after I'm like taking down, no, we can't do that, you still have in defense very strong ideas that we'll definitely end up doing that are exciting. So the amount of innovation now is growing. It became cool to be in defense. It wasn't so cool 5 years ago, right?
People would call it dual use. They will wash a little bit there.
Now you have Underdeveloped, you have Palantir. So many startups, Kela in Israel also managed to do something like that. Like they bring top talent, they're focused in defense, they're big companies, and they create, they bring all the fun and the innovation to defense. So there's very exciting things to be done. I agree with you.
Does acoustic work underwater? I mean,
it's called sonar. Lately. This is the sonar that you use. It's actually the radar. The radar underwater is sonar. It's based on acoustics.
But then microphones could also be useful.
I'll tell you what. It's a different physics, right? Like it's like very low frequencies. It becomes the way it behaves. I would say even to some extent more similar to analyzing radio frequency to drone acoustics. So it's not the field that we're going to, like, there are people who are experts in sonar, let them solve their problems.
You mentioned the drones attacking a very expensive base in Russia. It just came up to me that they did the same thing underwater with submarines.
Yes. It's there's also in this sphere of sonar technologies their own challenges and a lot to be done. Also, like to put now they try to put the drone detection systems on like ships and like maritime vehicles. So it's the drone world is definitely affected the sea world as well.
Okay, I would close with the question of every person that have been here before you answered it differently, but if we have one tip to give to someone that is starting something in the defense industry tomorrow, what would it be for an individual or for a team that and you learned that saved you a lot of time and frustration?
I think first of all, lots of friends, people come up to me and say like they just finished their army service. They're like brilliant guy, and they're like, I want to open a startup right now and like do. My actual advice, like my track was a bit different, right? I finished my army service, and for 5 years I worked in startups. I I had great bosses to learn from. I created lots of connections. I saw what it means to manage projects, what it is to do marketing, what it is to do finance. I really saw everything I could learn. Obviously, there's so much to learn, but when I found my first company, I done many of the things that needs to be done before, and I had a clear way on how to do it because I did it in the past. With what vendors to work and what exactly to do. So my advice to these people is first, try to join somewhere that you could learn, you can grow, you could make your own idea more clear, and then do the first step. That's actually my advice.
Sounds good. Knowledge worth money.
Yeah, knowledge worth lots of money. Definitely. Yeah, that's what we sell. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Itay.
Thank you very much, Shay.
It was a great session.
Yes, thank you.